Hello everyone, welcome back to uComputing Systems YouTube channel. My name is Eugene, and today I'm going to show you how you can configure encryption file system to secure your data on your Windows 8 operating system. Okay, so I have my Windows 8 operating system over here, and for this lab practice we will need just one computer for our practice. So on my VMware, as you can see, I have just one machine started here, and that is all we're going to need. So I'll enter full screen mode here, and then the first thing I need to do here is to configure something that we call a DRA. You need to configure your data recovery agent before you configure your encryption file system on a file or a folder. The reason why this is recommended is that should in case you forget your password and someone else on this same machine want to use a different account to access the encrypted files, it will be difficult for that person to have access to it. So if you have a data recovery agent configured, then the person can use the certificate and the personal information exchange keys that you generated from your data recovery agent to decrypt the files that have been encrypted with encryption file system. So let's see how we can do that. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is to create some folders and create some files in it that we're going to use to perform our encryption. This is just for testing, so I'm going to create my new folder over here. I'll name it EFS1. Okay, and then I'll create some file in it that we're going to use for testing. I'll call it EFS file 1, and I'll type something in it. Okay, and go file save. Alright, so this is my data in my EFS folder. This is the folder that I want to encrypt. I want to encrypt the folder and its contents. But before we do that, it's recommended we create our data recovery agent. So to do that, I'm going to open my command prompt by pressing Window key plus R and CMD here. I'll type CMD, press enter, and then let me change this font size. Alright, now we are going to change directory to the C drive because this is where we want to generate our certificate and keep it. Okay, we cannot afford to keep our generated certificate and personal information exchange keys in our user profile. If we do that, some people might not have access to it. So if you want to share our personal information exchange key and our certificate for our DRA with other users on this machine, we have to keep them somewhere that is easily accessible. Okay, so on this machine I have a folder on drive C labeled share 1. So I'll just change directory here to C:\share 1, enter. Okay, this is the folder. When I open drive C, this is the folder. Okay, alright, so to generate our personal information exchange keys for our DRA, we will run cipher /R:. This is going to create a personal information exchange key and a certificate for us, and that is what we are going to use to configure our data recovery agent before we perform our encryption. Okay, so after this one, okay, you can give it any name. I'm going to give it a name like Windows 8 iUser. Okay, then I'll press enter here, and it tells me to type the password to protect my personal information exchange key file. Okay, so I'll type my password here, and note that when you type the password, it doesn't display any asterisk or anything, but it's appearing. It's a security mechanism that Microsoft has implemented to ensure that if someone is looking over your shoulder, you will not see, or he or she will not see the length of the password. Okay, so once you finish typing the first one and you press enter, it's going to require that you retype the password again. So I'll type my password again and press enter. And if the password matches each other, it's going to give you a success message over here and create a certificate for you and a personal information exchange key for you. Alright, after that, what we need to do here is to close this console and go and check whether these two files has been created successfully. When I open my computer and open drive C, you see that the folder that we specified you should put it inside, it has done that nicely for us here. And we have our certificate and our personal information exchange key generated nicely for us. So this is what we're going to use. So to configure the data recovery agent with these files over here, what you need to do is to open your MMC console. Okay, I'll press window key plus R to open my run prompt and type MMC, enter, to open my Microsoft Management Console. And I'm going to add my certificate snap in so that I can have access to my certificate root on this machine. So I'll go to File, Add or Remove Snap In, and I'll select Certificate and go Add. And I'm adding for my user account because I'm encrypting this document in my user account so that other user account will not have access to it. So I'll select my user account here, go Finish, and go OK. And at this point, what I need to do is to expand the certificate option we have here in our navigation pane and expand this personal certificate folder. I'll click on personal certificate folder and then I'll right click on this node here and go to all tasks and select import. Okay, at this point, even though this is a certificate root, we are not importing the certificate we have generated. We are importing the personal information exchange key here. That is what you're supposed to do. Okay, so I'll go next here and then browse for the PFX file. I placed it on my drive C, so I'll click on computer here, open local drive C, open share 1, and then as you can see, it's only the certificate that is displaying here. So I'll click on this option over here and select personal information exchange so that my PFX file will show, and I'll select it and go open here and go next, and it tells me to type the password I typed initially in my command prompt console. So I'll type my password here and go next and leave it in the personal certificate store and go next and go finish. Okay, it tells me it has been imported successfully, and I'll click OK here and click certificate. It shows that my personal information exchange key has been imported to my personal certificate store on this machine, and the purpose of this PFX file is for what? File recovery. This looks good. After this one, you can just close it. Everything has been saved. You can also save the console so that in case you want to have access to it again, you can get the access, but I don't need it, so I'll just close. I wouldn't save the console. I'll click no here, and then the next thing that we need to do is to enter our local group policy object editor. Okay, so to do that, you can also open MMC and add the local group policy object editor snap in, or you can just access the local group policy by just running gpedit.msc. So I'll open the run prompt by pressing window key plus R and type gpedit.msc. Okay, and I'll go for the enter key is going to open my local group policy object editor, and then I'll just maximize. And then what I need to do here is to expand Windows settings under computer configuration, not user configuration. Under computer configuration, you expand Windows settings, you expand local security settings, then you expand public key policies. Then you select encrypting file system. Okay, and at this place we are going to import our certificate to this encrypting file system node here. So I'll right click here and select all tasks and select add a data recovery agent, and then I'll go next here and browse for the certificate. Once I browse, you see that my certificate is over here. If you don't find the certificate over here, you can just navigate to where you kept it and then go and select it again. And then I'll select open here, and it tells me this is not a signed certificate. Do I still want to install it? I'll go yes, because this certificate is coming from an unknown publisher, because we generated this certificate ourselves. So it sees it as an unsigned certificate. That is why it's giving us that warning, but it's okay. You can install and then go next and then go finish. Once you finish with this, the next thing that you need to do is to run gp update /force to make sure the group policy that you just implemented will take effect right away. Okay, so I'll close this group policy object editor and then open my run prompt again and type gp update /force and go for the enter key. It will update the group policy settings on this machine. It tells me that it was updated successfully. Okay, once this is done, we can go ahead and perform our encrypting using EFS. So I'll open my computer here and open drive C, and then this is the folder we want to encrypt. We want to encrypt the folder and its content. So I'll just right click on this folder and go to properties, and then I'll go to advanced here, and then we have this checkbox over here to encrypt the content of the folder. So I'll click encrypt content to secure this data and go OK, and I'll go apply, and it tells me whether I want to encrypt the folder only or the folder and its content. I'll just encrypt the folder and everything within it. So I'll leave the radio button at apply changes to folder and subfolders and files and go OK, and then go OK here. And then right now the data is encrypted, but because we encrypted this folder ourselves and then its content, and then we also have the personal information exchange key imported to our personal certificate root, we will have access to this folder. But let's try with a different user that doesn't have that particular personal information exchange key. We create a new user just for testing. I'll just go to computer management by right clicking on my computer and go to manage, and then I'll select local users and groups in the navigation pane here and select users, and I'll right click in the detailed pane and select new user here and call this new user Yao. Okay, you can repeat the same name here, and then you can enter a description if you want, but I'll just uncheck user must change password at next logon because we don't want to be delayed with this account policies, and I'll check password never expires and then type my password here, and I'll click on create here. It creates my new user account for me. So this is the user account we're going to use to test whether this encrypting file system is really taking effect. I'll close this one, and then I would sign out here, okay, and allow this user to sign in. So I'll click on Yao here. Okay, so this user account is logged in successfully. Okay, I'll go to the desktop and open my File Explorer over here by clicking File Explorer in my taskbar, and I'll go to Computer. And then what we're going to do here is to try to access the encrypted content of that folder. So I'll open Drive C, open EFS1, and try to access this. And it gives us access denied because the file has been encrypted with EFS. Okay, so how do we get access to this file in case the other user account has misplaced his or her password? Okay, so this is what we need to do to recover the data. We just have to open the MMC console by running MMC at the run prompt. I'll go for my enter key, and then we add the certificate snap in. I'm going to click on File and select Add or Remove Snap In, and I'll add a certificate root here. I'll click on Certificates and click Add, and it adds certificate for the current user, the certificate root, and I'll go OK here. And when I expand the certificate root in the personal node over here, I would have to import my personal information exchange key. Okay, so I'll right click on personal over here and go to all tasks and select import, and I'll go next here and browse for the PFX file. Because we want other users to have access to it, we placed our PFX file on our drive C in the folder labeled share 1. So when I open share 1, I have my PFX file here, but currently this option here is our certificates. That is why this one is showing. So I'll click here and select personal information exchange, and then I have my PFX file. I'll select my PFX file, click open, and go next. And then I'll need the password to authenticate here. So at this point, if I don't have, I have to ask the one who generated this particular PFX file for the password. So if I know already, I'll just type my password and then go next here, and then go next here, and then go finish. Okay, it shows that the file has been imported successfully. I'll go OK here, and then it shows I have a PFX file imported to my certificate root here on this particular user account for file recovery. Once this is done, it should be easy for us to have access to the file. So I'll close this console and then click on File Explorer and click on Computer, and then open Drive C, open EFS1, open the file, and right now the file has been decrypted for us because we use the DRA to access this file. Okay, so that is all about encrypting file system. Thank you very much for joining me today. See you next time. Bye bye.